Running an offset, you have to make sure that you're actually running a consistent and level fire. So who better than to have Rus Jones, the original gangster of Lone Star Grillz on YouTube, teach me how to run a Lone Star Grillz offset.
I'm ready, man.
So grab some charcoal and a chunk of wood, Rus. We're gonna amplify some backyard barbecue fun.
Well, Jeff, I think we just need to jump right into it.
Let's get into that firebox.
This is a 24 by 24 firebox. That's a nominal dimension. It's not exact. Now the walls on this firebox is full 1/4 inch. Learning how to manage the fire is key to good results with an offset. Up there where you live, you will want either a 1/2 inch thick firebox or a double walled insulated firebox for those extreme cold temps that will allow you to smoke all year long.
And I'm glad that I thought of it because we ordered a 1/2 inch firebox for Dead Broke Barbecue.
Absolutely. Here we have a 1/2 inch thick solid steel fire grate. Now I don't have it inserted into this pit, but there is a grill grate that goes right here that you can actually grill on. I've got videos on my channel where I actually made pizza in this firebox before by utilizing this upper grate with a big thick heavy pizza stone. Now the way I like this firebox is I use charcoal briquettes. I'll put a layer right here in this fire management basket, and then from there I'll lay a couple of these logs, one about that size and probably one about that size, just to get it started. And between that and the little charcoal briquettes we got going, it'll take about 45 minutes to get it up to about 250 degrees. And once we obtain a clear smoke, a good clear clean smoke, that's when we'll put meat on there. No sense to waste the fire, so we're going to utilize that by putting some racks of spare ribs on here once we get through this little walk around.
Think about that. Rus Jones from Smoky Ribs is going to cook us some smoky ribs.
Now, as I mentioned, this is a fire management basket, and this thing has really proven to be a huge asset. In the past, I had to build my fire right on top of the fire grate, everything going good, and then you'll look in here a little while later and one of the logs has rolled off. So this kind of keeps everything contained to this area. Plus, if you'll notice, this lower vent is dead center of this fire basket, and the air drafts straight in, over, and then out and through the chamber. Typically, I try to adjust my heat by the size of the fire. So I pretty much leave this wide open, and on the stack where the exhaust is, I will leave it always wide open. I never damper that down. Now in the heat of the summer, when it gets extremely hot in July and August, this pit can get upwards to 150 degrees inside of it without any fire. So it's going to take a very small fire to maintain your low and slow temperatures. In the fall, winter, and spring, this thing is a breeze. It's only 2 months out of the year. I have to kind of adjust things a little bit different from what I normally do.
Is wall thickness in the chamber a big deal, or is it just more in the firebox?
I'll be honest with you, it's important everywhere. I would try to go for 1/4 inch minimal, but 3/16 does pretty good too. That's just a little under 1/4 inch. But any lighter than that, you're going to be getting into your sheet metal, and I definitely would not recommend that.
Thin tin.
You see all the seasoning on here?
Mm-hmm.
I've got it built in here that's 5 years of seasoning built up, and I am a firm believer that you do want to clean your grates. Obviously, that's where the food's going, but don't clean the seasoning. You'll get hurt if you try to clean the seasoning off of my pit, I promise you. Seasoning is flavor. What comes off of it tastes better today than what it did when I first got it. This particular pit also has what they refer to as tuning plates, and you can see the gap at what they're spaced. That's typically going to give me pretty much the same heat all the way across. Now, if you spread these out more, I have actually been hotter over here on the stack end than what I have been here by the firebox, which really blew my mind at first.
It's finally time to light up this LSG. Let's get the smoker rolling.
All right, so these aren't completely ashed over, but they're close, but I have a fire here that's actually blazing, so this is a good time to add a log or two, and that's exactly what we're gonna start with. I wanna start with a little bit bigger log there, and a little bit smaller there. If y'all notice, I've got logs on each side of this firebox. And what that's doing is preheating these logs. When I'm ready for more logs, these are already hot and they just ignite super fast. Also got two up here. They'll get hot here as well. Do you remember that song, Smoke Gets in Your Eyes?
Of course I do.
Well, whoever wrote that song must have owned an offset.
So what type of flavor of wood are we using today?
What we're using through this entire cook is black jack oak. It's kind of similar to like water oak, very similar to post oak. It's regional in the southeast. Lots of it right around here.
Up in my area, we're gonna have white and red oak. So you have to use what you have available, because trying to bring in wood from different parts of the country is too expensive. So Russ, I've got another question for you. Is this the only way to light up an offset?
Absolutely not. There's another way, and it's actually something that's used widely in a lot of your famous barbecue restaurants. Not everybody can get seasoned wood all the time. So my son Derek does this for our offset, and he's gonna walk you through that and show you exactly how it's done.
On the subject of fire management, another method I use, because I do got seasoned wood and I got wood that is seasoning. You would not typically smoke with green wood because it adds a bitterness to your food over a long period of time. So I put together another alternative. Let me introduce y'all to Big Bertha, better known as a barbecue burn barrel. Now I built Big Bertha by utilizing two 55-gallon drums. I took the bottom drum, I cut the top out, and then I cut a big bottom out for airflow, number one, but number two, large enough where I can get my shovel under there to get them hot coals to go inside the pit. Just below the center line of where I join these two barrels together, you will see two rods coming through that is nothing more than square tubing. And inside of that, I have stretched out fencing. And the whole purpose of this is taking that green wood, and by doing this process, it eliminates the gases and the moistures out of that wood, so we have a good clean smoke from whatever type of wood that we want to use. In my case, this is oak. Now I will say there is a downside to this method. You will only yield 25% of hot coals out of the wood that you're feeding in there. So you do the math, it is a lot, but if that's all you got to use, and I'm in that boat sometimes, it works, and it works great.
All right, we have been going roughly 45 minutes, and the pit is actually at 225, but it's hot enough and the smoke is clear enough to where we can go ahead and load this thing up with the 4 racks of ribs. All right, Jeff, you wanna go ahead and swing this open?
Sure.
All right, man. What I'm gonna do is go ahead and pull this bottom rack out, put it right in here.
Boy, they're nice and sweaty though. Look at those, huh?
Oh yeah, they sweat it out really nice. We'll put 3 on the bottom, put these other spares right up here on the top, just like that. Now if you'll close that up for me.
It does help to have ape arms.
The fire in the firebox, it's looking pretty good right now, but I will have to add some more fuel here momentarily. We've been going roughly 4 hours, really haven't been timing it, but does it feel like 4 hours?
Yeah, it's about 4.
And the 3 on the bottom are ready to come off. The one on the top, not quite there yet, but that's the one we're gonna sauce, so that really worked out well. So Jeff, go ahead and open that pit since you got the longest arms.
Ape-like, that is.
We're gonna go ahead and get these ribs off of here. All right, look at that, man. Look at the pullback on those.
That looks pretty. Looks
now,
good.
These are no wrapped ribs, and that's the way I love ribs. I love them dry, which means no sauce.
Me too.
And I don't like to wrap hardly ever. And look at the bend on those. These were probing out good as far as tenderness. These, just a little bit more. By the time we sauce these and let them keep going, they'll be fine. This is a full spare rib. Look at that juiciness, man. That is beautiful.
Loaded. That's eating ribs right there, folks.
Absolutely.
Now, every good barbecue has to have at least one rib that's been all mudded up.
Derek put this sauce together earlier, and what he used, 1 full bottle of the PS Seasoning Cherry Bomb, a ½ a cup of Dr. Pepper, and a splash of whiskey, and that's it. Oh boy, it sure gives it a nice sheen, doesn't it?
Sure does. It looks like barbecue to me.
Southern barbecue, huh?
Pretty soon I'm gonna start saying y'all.
Yeah.
Close this lid up, and we're gonna just let this tack up a little bit. We'll bring it back, and we're gonna have a taste test.
What do you think, man?
I think it's time to take a bite.
All right, let's see how we done. Oh man, tender, juicy.
Bite off the bone, like
Bite off the bone. I really like that rub.
Crispy outside.
Oh man.
I can really taste that offset flavor.
Now this video isn't so much about the cook. We just said, why waste all this wood firing up an offset if we don't cook something? So hey, ribs it is.
We're gonna have to have another one though. One more bite, buddy.
Sure.
I just gotta show you that. That's incredible.
A lot of people are intimidated with an offset, and it's really just monitoring your temperature and doing instinctively what you already know to do. Add more wood if you need more heat, take more wood away if you need to lower the heat. But the one thing you want to make sure of is that you always have a very, very clean fire. What I mean is an active fire. As long as it's actually burning, you got a nice, clear, clean smoke, and that's what makes it taste so good.
Russ, I want to thank you for spending this afternoon with me today, teaching me how, again, to run an offset. It's not as hard as it looks.
No.
I was impressed how well this Lone Star held from 225 to 275 degrees, this 4 hours of a cook.
Yeah.
Just a couple added sticks,
Yep.
that was it.
That's it.
But it's time consuming and you just have to be patient. Don't push it, just let the pit do the work.
Couldn't have said it better.
Well, that's all we got.
Roll the nation. Do I got anything on my mouth?
A little bit, but don't matter, it's barbecue.
I'm a messy Marvin. You like that?
I like that a lot.
Me too. I like it a lot.